Hey everybody, I'm back. Hope everybody's had a good Sunday. I had a very relaxing Sunday. Just got finished watching the NASCAR Cup Series race on TV, the Better Health 400. That's my favorite thing to do on Sundays is watch NASCAR. Christopher Bell wins a race at Atlanta's 10th career victory in the Cup Series. Crazy race. There was like 49, maybe 50 lead changes overall today. Christopher Bell was not expected to be a win contender today, as the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas and the Toyotas in general had a rough day yesterday in qualifying. So that was actually pretty impressive to see Bell up there at the very end. And he only led one lap, I believe, which happened to be the final lap. And obviously, it was maybe half of the final lap because a wreck happened involving Josh Berry and a couple of others on the last lap that caused NASCAR to throw out the yellow. Speaking of Josh Berry, this is his second full-time season in the Cup Series. He started last season with Stewart-Haas Racing, and obviously Stewart-Haas folded at the end of the year, but Josh Berry moved on to the Wood Brothers, led 56 laps today and was a front runner all day until he unfortunately got wrecked on the last lap. We almost had another three-wide finish in this Atlanta race. If any NASCAR fans that scroll across this remember last year in Atlanta, it was Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, and Kyle Busch. Daniel Suarez won that one, but it was a three-wide photo finish last year. We almost had a similar situation today with Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Carson Hocevar. However, NASCAR threw out the yellow from that Josh Berry wreck with Berry and a couple others before they got back to the finish line, and Christopher Bell was the leader at the time of the yellow coming out on that last lap, so Christopher Bell gets the win. Pretty good race. I know a lot of fans will probably nitpick NASCAR for throwing that yellow. NASCAR's kind of sort of been getting some flack about the inconsistencies when it comes to throwing the yellow out on the last lap. I know last Thursday during the dual races at Daytona, it was controversial where Austin Cindric won duel number 2 off of NASCAR throwing out the yellow flag on the last lap when Eric Jones beat him to the line, but the caution came out before Austin Cindric and Eric Jones got to the line last week, so that handed Austin Cindric the win in that dual race last Thursday at Daytona over a week ago from that caution. And then in then it was last Sunday in the Daytona 500, there was a big wreck on the last lap, and instead of throwing out the caution on the last lap, NASCAR let them race back to the line, and William Byron won it under green. Last night in the Xfinity Series race, similar situation as to last Sunday, and for those that are new to NASCAR, the Xfinity Series is like the AA for NASCAR. The Cup Series is a major league for NASCAR. But yesterday at Atlanta, Austin Hill wins the Xfinity Series race, and there was a wreck on the last lap, but NASCAR stayed green for the finish. And I think NASCAR told the Cup drivers today in the drivers' meeting that they maybe should have actually thrown that yellow on that last lap in the Xfinity race last night, but they didn't. So I think in the drivers' meeting, NASCAR talked about that they would be more on their toes on that if there were to be a wreck on the last lap in the Cup Series race today, which there was. involving Josh Berry and one or two others, or a few more others. And so instead of possibly getting another green flag 3-wide finish with Bell, Larson, and Hocevar this year, we got Christopher Bell up by well over a nose when the caution light came on today. But yeah, Christopher Bell with the win today. And Carson Hocevar, which he finished second today, but there's a few drivers in the field that are probably eager to have a chat with him, because I think Hocevar might have made some questionable moves towards the end. And I know last year Hocevar caught some flack last year from some drivers for his aggressive style of racing, and Hocevar was definitely aggressive in the end and possibly helped trigger the wreck on the last lap. But yeah, Christopher Bell, 10th career Cup Series win. And Kyle Larson finishes, I want to say he finished 4th. I have to go back and look. I think he might have finished 3rd. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know he was battling for the lead. I think he might finish 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. I don't always remember everything off the top of my head like that when they immediately happen. But it was actually a pretty good day for Larson. Larson had struggled on the drafting tracks. He had a bad Daytona 500 last Sunday and was kind of in his own head a little bit in terms of on the drafting tracks, and he had a top 5 finish most definitely today at Atlanta, which has been a drafting track since their reconfiguration since 2022. But really solid day for Larson. Tough day, I would say, for the Fords, especially Penske and Wood Brothers. Penske of Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, and Joey Logano, and Wood Brothers of Josh Berry. The Penske and Wood Brothers Fords were fast yesterday in qualifying, and they ran up front pretty much, I would say, like 90% of the race. Blaney made contact in the last like 20-some laps of today's race and spun. He saved the car, but spun, was brought out of caution, and he went and pitted for 4 tires, and he managed to stay on the lead lap. He got back up there in the mix towards the end of the race. Austin Cindric, he was running strong today. Then him and William Byron in the 24. That's one of my favorite drivers. He's a Hendrick driver. Cindric and Byron got into the wall in the last like 4 laps. So that kind of ruined Cindric's day. And then Josh Berry, I mentioned him earlier. He led like 56 laps today, and he ended up getting wrecked out on the last lap. So that kind of ruined the day for the Penske and Wood Brothers Fords. So that was a tough day for them. But yeah, the Toyotas, they had a terrible qualifying yesterday, and I don't think many saw them as a contender, but Christopher Bell emerged right when it counted the most and got the win. And speaking of Kyle Larson, another Hendrick Motorsports driver, so I like him a little bit too, like all the Hendrick guys, Byron, Larson, Alex Bowman, and Chase Elliott. But Larson with I want to say a 3rd or a 4th place today. The Hendrick and the Chevys didn't have the best qualifying yesterday too, but the Hendrick guys ran up in the top 10, and Larson and Byron ran in the top 5 for much of the day as well, before calamity happened, and obviously Larson being the best finisher out of the Hendrick bunch today. And speaking of the Chevys, I told you Carson Hocevar's 2nd place finish. Hocevar drives a Chevy for Spire Motorsports, and so Hocevar definitely had the best finish of the Chevys today. But yeah, what a race. Next Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series will be on a road course in Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. I believe that's going to be NASCAR's 21, 22, 23, fifth time racing at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Circuit of the Americas, I want to say it opened up in 2011. I want to say 2011 Circuit of the Americas opened up. It was a Formula One track, and Formula One still races there as well as the MotoGP. I think IndyCar raced there once, and I think the sports cars are racing there as well throughout the year. But next weekend, I believe, will be NASCAR's fifth straight season. Yeah, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20. Yeah, fifth straight season of NASCAR racing at Circuit of the Americas next weekend, a road course. All four of the Hendrick guys I just mentioned, I would say have good shots next week. Kyle Larson, he's won a handful of road course races in his career. William Byron, he's won a couple of road courses. William Byron actually won last year's road course race at the Circuit of the Americas, so he could have a shot next week. Chase Elliott has like 7 road course wins to his credit, including the inaugural Circuit of the Americas NASCAR Cup race in 2021. And Alex Bowman, he runs decent on road courses. He finished second in the Circuit of the Americas race in 2022 when he won last year's running of the NASCAR Cup Series race on the Chicago street course. So those, all four of the Hendrick Motorsports drivers, I would say, would be heavy favorites to win at Circuit of the Americas next week. Shane Van Gisbergen from Colleague Racing would be a good pick as well. Shane Van Gisbergen's won a Cup Series race on the inaugural running of the Chicago street race back in 2023, and Shane Van Gisbergen won a couple road course races down in the NASCAR Xfinity Series last season. So Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, could have a chance next Sunday, as well as his Colleague Racing teammate AJ Allmendinger, who is also a really good driver on the road courses. So, yeah, we'll see what the accident has in store next Sunday at Circuit of the Americas. But yeah, that was my Sunday today, spent watching NASCAR for all of this afternoon. I did go to church this morning, went to a non-denominational church. Yeah, and in my first ever video I posted, I mentioned that like my brain's always spinning, and I have anxieties and stuff, and my brain's just constantly in thought, constantly just going everywhere, and mood-wise as well. And today, like, most of the message at church today, at the church service I attended today, kind of resonated with me a little bit, and I kind of walked out there feeling pretty, good, in good spirits today and stuff, which is good. So had a good Sunday today. It was a fun NASCAR Cup Series race to watch this afternoon, and looking forward to the week coming up. Got a lot of spring training baseball this week as well, so that will be fun. But just wanted to post another video again. And one more thing, if y'all remember on the last video I did, give me a minute everybody. On the last video I did, I was showing everyone, the fun eye paint, so I'll do it again before logging off. All right, everybody. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Sunday and hope y'all have a great rest of the week. Y'all have a good one.